high above Boulder, Colorado, where the mountains crease the sky and old trails vanish into pine and granite. There once stood a mining camp so loud, so lawless, and so hopeful that even the ghosts today are probably still arguing over who owned what. They called it Jimtown, and presiding over its strangest legend was a man everyone knew as Indian Jack. Now first, let's admit something. No one agrees who Indian Jack really was. Some said he was Ute, some said Arapaho, some said he wasn't native at all, just a bearded prospector who liked the nickname because it scared investors.
And at least one old miner swore he was actually 3 different men using the same name to dodge debt.
Which already tells you, this story is going to misbehave. Jimtown rose in the early 1860s when gold fever spilled out of Central City and Blackhawk and crept south toward Boulder Creek. Men came with pans, then picks, then shovels, then lawyers, which is when things usually got dangerous. Tents became cabins, cabins became saloons, and soon Jimtown had 3 saloons, 1 boarding house, 2 assay offices, 0 churches, and more fights than residents, which in frontier math meant it was thriving. And standing slightly apart from town was Indian Jack's claim. Not the biggest, not the richest, but somehow always producing gold. Now this is where the legend begins to stretch. While other miners dug themselves into debt, broken bones, and existential despair, Indian Jack always seemed comfortable. Not rich, but never poor. He paid his tabs, he bought rounds, he replaced tools without complaining. And most suspicious of all, his claim never flooded. In Colorado, which is basically geological sorcery, miners began to notice patterns. Whenever someone struck a promising vein nearby, Indian Jack would politely wander over, offer advice, suggest a new direction, and within weeks, that miner's vein would dry up, while Jack's claim would suddenly improve. Coincidence? Maybe, unless it happened 14 times. Soon rumors spread. Some said Jack knew ancient native maps of the mountains. Others said spirits guided him. One man insisted Jack had trained a marmot to sniff out gold, which will file under optimistic wildlife theory. Then came the golden years. Jimtown boomed. Saloons rang with piano music and gunfire, sometimes at the same time. Gold shipments rolled downhill toward Boulder. Assayers stayed busy, and every month, Indian Jack quietly delivered another small but steady pouch of gold. Never bragged, never showed excitement. Just nodded and said, "Mountain gives what it wants," which sounded wise, but also suspiciously convenient. Now let's talk about the Great Disappearance, because no twisted history survives without one. One winter night, after a particularly successful season, 3 miners vanished, their claims abandoned, their cabins empty, their tools left neatly stacked. And here's the odd part. Their richest claims were all uphill from Indian Jack's. Within weeks, those claims mysteriously collapsed, caved in, flooded, unworkable, while Indian Jack's tunnel suddenly opened into the richest vein he'd ever seen. Pure gold quartz, enough to retire, enough to leave, enough to make enemies. Naturally, the town panicked. Sheriffs investigated. Tracks vanished in snow. Cabins showed no struggle. And Indian Jack attended every meeting, asked helpful questions, and volunteered to search, which is always comforting when the suspect helps organize the search. Then came the night of the fire. Jimtown burned fast, like most frontier towns. Saloons went first, then stores, then the boarding house. Men ran, horses screamed. And by morning, half the town was ash, and Indian Jack's cabin, untouched, not even smoke damage.
Either he's blessed, or the fire's afraid of him.
After the fire, Jimtown declined. Gold thinned, men drifted, saloons closed, and one spring morning, Indian Jack was gone. Claim abandoned. Cabin empty, tunnel sealed. No goodbye, no debt, no trace. Years later, a prospector reopened Jack's tunnel. Inside, he found carefully stacked tools, fresh supports, and carved into the wall, a map. Not of Jimtown, not of Boulder, but of tunnels crisscrossing half the mountain, some leading nowhere, some intersecting old claims, some pointing to veins no one had ever found. At the bottom, carved neatly, "Gold moves, so do men, try to keep up." After that, strange things followed. Claims near Jack's tunnels occasionally collapsed without warning. Gold appeared in odd places, and miners swore they saw a figure on ridgelines. Watching, waiting, laughing. Some say Indian Jack left with a fortune. Some say he died in a cave-in years later. Some say he never existed at all. Just a name passed between thieves, tricksters, and lucky fools.
Jack wasn't finding gold, he was relocating it.
Today, Jimtown is gone. Scattered timbers, sunken foundations, and silent hills where men once shouted, sang, and disappeared. But hikers still find odd tunnels, collapsed shafts, and sometimes fresh tool marks where no one claims to have been digging. And that, my friends, is the twisted legacy of Indian Jack, the man who never struck it rich, but never struck it poor, the miner who vanished without losing, and the only outlaw in Colorado who may have stolen nothing except everyone else's luck. If you enjoyed this twisted tale from Colorado's strangest mining days, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It helps keep these forgotten legends alive. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss next week's Twisted History, where the gold lies, the ghosts talk, and the truth always behaves badly. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you somewhere deeper in the mountains.